We have new information that we've released as a result of a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. The Freedom of Information Act is the federal transparency law that allows you and groups like Judicial Watch access to government documents about its activities. It allows you to find out what the government's up to. And in the case of the coup cabal, there's a lot to find out about because I think it evidences criminal activity. The new emails are from Lisa Page and Peter Strozk, the two senior or former top senior FBI officials who are having an affair, but also were anti-Trumpers and pro-Hillary Clinton. At the time, they were running both the Clinton email investigation, if you want to even call it that, and the Russiagate targeting of President Trump. In fact, Strozk and Page were removed from the investigation by Robert Mueller in a secret move that wasn't told, that no one found out about till 4 months later because of text messages that the Inspector General allegedly found detailing his political bias and Page's political bias and obviously their improper relationship. You may remember those text messages where Strozk talks about having an insurance policy if President Trump's elected and basically hating Trump voters and just showing inappropriate animus in a way that suggests that both investigations were wired to protect Hillary and target Donald Trump. So we have new emails. So we've asked for all the communications between these two very special people, Lisa Page and Peter Strozk. We asked and were denied, as per usual from the stonewalling FBI. So we sued the Justice Department in January of 2018. So this is about a year and a half ago. And they found about 13,000 pages in response to our FOIA request for all the communications between Strozk and Page. And they've only been giving us essentially emails. The text messages, I'll get into the text messages later, the FBI doesn't believe that text messages are subject to FOIA. Can you believe that? So they want to hide the text messages of Page, Strozk, Andrew McCabe, James Comey, you name it. And we're fighting that out separately. Well, this will come up in this case. It's not ripe yet for this case, I don't think. But we're fighting it in another case where the FBI refuses to look at text messages under the Freedom of Information Act. Well, anyway, we're getting emails in the least, and the emails show a few things. That when James Comey testified to Congress about the Wiener laptop Clinton emails, remember, Huma Abedin had sent or had all of the Clinton emails, most of them on her husband, then husband, Anthony Weiner's laptop. Anthony Weiner went to jail for a sex crime. So that included classified information. How do we know that? Because Judicial Watch received those documents showing there was classified material on Anthony Weiner's laptop from Hillary Clinton's email server. More evidence of her criminal misconduct, in my view. Comey testified in May of 2017 that Huma Abedin's had made a regular practice of forwarding hundreds of thousands really, of Clinton's messages to her husband, some of which contained classified information. Well, the FBI was horrified at that. And so the emails show that they were desperate to try to correct that, or frankly, just muddy the record there. So the documents show there were all the top officials of the FBI were involved in drafting a letter to the Congress that misleadingly suggested that his original testimony was wrong, when in fact it probably wasn't, and said, well, no, we found 49,000 emails. So it's interesting to see that anything that makes Hillary Clinton look bad, the FBI goes crazy over. That's what these emails show. The emails also show the anti-Trump collusion between the New York Times and the FBI. Normally when you have a reporter or reporters doing reports or reporting on investigations or agency activity, they seek responses. They say, we're doing this, we found out this, do you have an official response? But if you're friends with the people running the agency, you give them a heads up. And this is what the email shows, that the New York Times gave a heads up to the FBI about a story, and this is the email. It was a March 24th, 2017 email from New York Times reporter Michael Schmidt to the FBI PR person, Michael Cortan. Schmidt offers the FBI information, and I'll read it. He asks, I'll just read the email. You can figure out, you'll see what I mean. Mike writes, wanted to flag you on something. 3 of my colleagues are working on a story about the Russia investigation. They're told that Jared Kushner is among the individuals who the FBI is scrutinizing for the meetings with Russians. My colleagues were told that Ambassador Kislyak, the Russian ambassador, after meeting Kushner and General Flynn in early December at Trump Tower, set up a meeting with Kushner and a Russia banker. Kushner ultimately met with the Russia banker. The banker worked for Alpha Bank. Thanks, Mike. I don't know if that story turned out to be completely accurate or not, but does that sound like someone seeking a response? No, that's a heads up. We've got this story you'll be interested in. It shows, in my view, collusion. Indeed, the president, seeing discussions of this on Fox News, our friend Molly Hemingway was talking about it on Tucker Carlson. I talked about it on Sean Hannity this week. It was talked about on Fox and Friends. The president said, what's going on here? Is it even legal what's going on? I don't know if it's legal or not, but it certainly is shady. You got the FBI working in collusion with the New York Times on an anti-Trump story. Or if I reverse that, the New York Times working with the FBI in an anti-Trump story. Not because they needed information from the FBI, they were conveying information to the FBI. And another email exchange between Strozk, Page, and other FBI officials whose names are redacted for whatever reason, and the subject line is NYT last shot. The FBI appears to be given a preview of an upcoming article there. In the New York Times. Peter, Lisa, the editing is nearing completion and we have one last shot to hear what the end result is. Do you have time later today or tomorrow? That is convenient for a listening session, likely by phone in Mike's office. So they were giving a special preview by the New York Times. Again, if that doesn't show something other than the journalism independence, I don't know what does. It shows they're working hand in glove on this material. Now, I may be naive and that goes on all the time, but I don't think it does. I don't think it does.